Hello, this is one of my short videos for parents who have a child with an eating disorder. And in this video, I want to talk a little bit about an eating disorder voice. So before I talk about an eating disorder voice, let's just step back for a moment and think about our own experience, about the thoughts that go on in your head. Now, I for certain have loads of different voices in my head. They don't have a different tone of voice. I don't hear them as different voices. They do for some people. So we all have different experiences of them. But if you think about it and tell me you don't have a voice in your head, the voice that said you don't have a voice in you, no, I don't, is the voice we're talking about. So the conversations that go on in our head. And I certainly have a voice that wants to keep me safe. Don't do that. That's a dangerous thing to do. Or who are you to do that? My not good enough voice. And I have a cheerleading voice. Or you've done that really well. So I have all these thought processes that go on in my head. And some of them are really helpful. Some of them are there to keep me safe. And some of them are frankly unhelpful. And there's loads of not helpful nonsense that goes on between my ears. So there's kind of lots of commentary that goes on in there. For your child at this moment in time, it's likely that they have a train of thought going on about what they can and can't eat. Typically, it's described as a really bullying voice that tells them they're not good enough and they shouldn't be doing that and they shouldn't be doing this and that they're not worthy. And it will materialize differently for different people. So I don't want to make I don't want to, in my making generalizations, I don't want to say that's how it is for your child. But the likelihood is when their anxiety and their stress is coming up around their eating and around some of their behaviors, then that is their eating disorder voice coming through. Now, I'm saying this because it's helpful to recognize that there is this less than useful train of thought going on for your child. So in their behavior, there's this thought going on. So we can separate it out. So perhaps you're at the table and they're arguing with you about what they do and don't want to eat. To be able to say, I think that sounds like your eating disorder voice, helps you distinguish. Now, I know when our daughter was unwell, she really disliked us doing that. She didn't see the voice as separate, and I'm not suggesting that it is separate from her or them, but what I am saying is it's an unhelpful train of thought that is going on. So if we can pick up on that unhelpful train of thought and separate it from their behavior, then we can guide them towards more appropriate behavior. So if they're arguing with you, you might say, that sounds like your eating disorder voice. Some people give it a name. That sounds like unhelpful thoughts that you're having there. Let's do this. I can see that you're anxious. It looks like you're having unhelpful thoughts here. This is what we know is the right thing to do. So guiding away, if you get involved in an argument with the voice gets stronger. You can see that in an interaction with yourself. Let's say your husband, let's say your partner, I say husband because I have a husband, but let's say your partner says something to you and makes you wrong in their speaking, then you're going to want to defend yourself. So you can see how in normal conversation, if we argue with somebody, the other person's likely to want to defend them. So if you start arguing with an eating disorder voice, it's likely to start arguing back with you, and it effectively makes it stronger. So if you can avoid the trap of arguing with that unhelpful train of thought, you will weaken it rather than strengthen it. So a couple of things. It's helpful when you see that behavior coming up to say, no, I don't want to engage in that train of thought. It's unhelpful. And to not argue with that train of thought, because again, it can strengthen the eating disorder thought. I'm going to talk a little bit about other things that we can do with the eating disorder thought process in another video.